Hey, welcome back. So Kanazawa is what happens when Kyoto doesn't get bombed in World War II and a feudal clan with too much money goes all in on gardens and culture for 250 years. The mistake most people make is treating it like a Kyoto side trip when it's really its own thing. And if you don't lock in the right days for the right neighborhoods, you end up rushing through empty streets at noon instead of lantern-lit alleys at dusk. I mapped out the whole route into a template, so if you want it, the link's in the description. Late October through November is the sweet spot. Maples go red, ginkgo goes gold, and the garden light hits differently than it does the rest of the year. Day 1 is the garden trilogy, the famous one with the two-legged lantern, the castle next door, and the tiny waterfall garden where you can actually hear the water. Kenroku-en is why people come to Kanazawa, one of Japan's 3 so-called most beautiful gardens, which sounds like marketing until you realize the Maida clan spent 2 centuries building it. They literally designed it around a Chinese landscape theory checklist of 6 qualities: spaciousness, seclusion, abundant water, artificiality, antiquity, broad views. The Kotoji Toro lantern has 2 legs instead of 1, and you will photograph it because everyone photographs it, and that's fine. It's a good photo. Get here before 9 a.m. because after that you're sharing the paths with tour groups and the still water reflections turn into ripple chaos. Walk through Ishikawa Gate and you're in Kanazawa Castle Park, the administrative heart that paid for that garden next door. The Maida clan ran their domain from here, and what you see now are carefully restored turrets and warehouses using traditional techniques, not theme park recreations. The Gojiken Tatsumi earthen walls are massive, and in November, the ginkgo trees lining the paths turn the kind of gold that makes you stop mid-stride. Most tourists stop at Kenroku-en, so you'll have more space here. Good place to reset as the garden felt overwhelming. Gyokusen is the antidote to garden crowds, a private family retreat that predates Kenroku-en, built by a merchant, not a feudal lord. You can actually hear the waterfall here, which sounds like a low bar until you remember Kenroku-en's soundtrack is other tourists, moss, narrow paths, a tea house, and on some days you might have the whole place nearly to yourself. Bring Cashno cards at the gate and give it about an hour before you wrap day 1 somewhere peaceful. Day 2 is feudal Kanazawa, streets where samurai actually lived, a temple full of trapdoors, and a geisha district that still operates after dark. Nagamachi is what preserved historic district actually means: earthen walls, narrow canals, cobblestone streets, and yes, people still live here. This was the Maida clan's samurai residential quarter, and the Nomura Key House is open if you want to see how a middle-ranking samurai actually lived. Turns out most samurai were basically civil servants. With Swords the movies really oversold the glamour. Morning light is best on the mud walls and water, and weekdays are quieter than weekends when domestic tourists show up. Myouryuji is called Ninja Temple, which is branding, because nothing here has anything to do with ninja. It's a defensive temple full of samurai-era paranoia architecture. 4 stories on the outside, 7 levels inside with hidden doors, retractable floorboards, and staircases that lead nowhere. Tours only, no wandering, and the guide will open a wall at some point to reveal a room you didn't know existed. Book ahead if you can morning tours, fill up or show up early and hope for a walk-in spot, because the groups are small and space is limited. Higashi Chaya is Kanazawa's largest geisha district, wooden tea houses from the Edo period that survived because Kanazawa wasn't bombed. This isn't a museum or a recreation. Geisha still entertain here. Some tea houses are private, and others will let you in for matcha and sweets. Come at dusk when the lanterns come on, because daytime feels like any other shopping street, but evening is when the atmosphere actually lands. Walk slow, listen for shamisen practice through open windows, and don't photograph people without asking. Some of these houses are still private residences. Day 3 is where the city feeds you, confuses you with contemporary art, and then hands you a hilltop view of everything you just walked through. Omicho Market has been Kanazawa's kitchen for 3 centuries. This is where locals actually shop, not a tourist trap that forgot to close. Winter crab is in season, and if you've never had a seafood bowl or sushi for breakfast surrounded by vendors calling out prices, this is the place. The smell hits you first: salt and fish and steam from the hot food stalls, and the floors are wet, and nobody is here to impress you. Go before 10 a.m. because by early afternoon, vendors start packing up and bring small bills since most stalls don't take cards. The 21st Century Museum is famous for one thing, a glass installation called a swimming pool that makes you look like you're walking underwater. You can view it from above for free or pay to go below and watch people on the surface through the glass Instagram bait, sure, but genuinely disorienting in person. The circular building is almost as interesting as the Art No corners, windows everywhere. Designed by Sané before they were Sané. Book online for weekends because peak times sell out, but weekday afternoons usually have walk-up availability. Utatsuyama Park is the hilltop you've earned 149 meters up, 360-degree views of the castle, Kenroku-en, and the Japan Sea in one frame. During the Edo period, commoners weren't allowed up here because it overlooked the castle. Now it's free and nobody stops you, which feels like progress. Climb up about 30 minutes before sunset because golden hour from this angle is the moment the city actually looks like the brochures promised. Bring a jacket hilltops, get windy, and wear decent shoes for the stairs because the path gets slippery when it's wet. Kanazawa is the rare Japanese city where the old stuff is real, the new stuff is genuinely interesting, and you can walk from feudal gardens to contemporary art without ever getting on a train. The route template is in the description if you want the whole thing pre-built with a map view and editable stops. Drop a comment if you've been to Kanazawa and found something I missed. I'm always curious what people discover once they stop following the main tourist trail.